Okay, so we have here, we're going to work on the hair today. So we have black, ivory black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and Naples yellow. So to start, for the first layer, we're going to do, even if it's a brown hair, it's good to start with the dark brown. So that's why I have a bit of black with my brown, and I'm just going to paint it. Touch of black, not too much. It's not black hair, it's brown. And I simplified the hair, simplified the style. I'm using a round brush. And I am painting with the shape of the hair, the head. It's on an angle, on a curve, not angle, curve. It's slightly curved. So don't put too much black, just enough for your burnt umber to have some depth, because we are working on a light color, right? Canvas. Okay. Let's do that. And then we have over here, this is a first layer. And you can see with the first layer, I'm getting a kind of movement of wispy kind of movement of hair in here. Now, hair is darker at the bottom where it curves in, it folds in, and lighter on top where the head is rounded here. So now I have just kind of try to see if I can brighten up the color a bit so you can see what I'm doing. You can see a bit. So this is kind of, I have a kind of a wispy brush stroke. It's not opaque, it's not heavy. It's heavier at the bottom, darker at the bottom, but over here, it's a bit light right there. It's not much, not a lot of paint. So I'm gonna do, this is my first layer. Let's wash my brush. And I'm gonna take a smaller brush, round, but smaller. Take burnt umber and just make sure that all right, now we can take a bit of burnt sienna and Naples yellow with a bit of burnt umber. A little bit of burnt umber, okay? So I'm trying to do the highlights now, the highlighted area. I'm going to take a bit of more burnt umber in here. I don't want it to look white or, light, too light. More on the red side with burnt sienna, but not too light. And you see in a minute, it looks right now too washed, but eventually by working back and forth, we'll get a really nice color. So I'm highlighting my burnt umber. I'm not really taking the highlight all the way down because it folds in at the bottom. All right. Let's take a little bit more burnt Naples yellow. Sorry, Naples yellow. Mix it with a bit of burnt umber. And this is drying darker now, which is great. So now I'm looking at the actual reference and I can see there's a band of strong highlight and it's right here. So the highlights usually on the hair is not all over. It's in a specific place. Usually it's a small area and it's short. Short, not long. Getting there. Let's take a bit of burnt sienna. So it's more on the red side instead of the yellow side. All right, I'm going to show you something here. It's going to be, this is white, Naples yellow and white. I'm going to take a touch of burnt sienna. The problem with burnt sienna, once you start highlighting, it becomes pink, flesh tone. Burnt umber. If you don't want to use burnt sienna, that's fine. Just use burnt umber. So burnt umber, let's go. Burnt umber, Naples yellow and white. And I'm going to come here where the highlight is. And you're going to see this is a strong, strong highlight. And I'm going kind of strands. And when you do that, it's going to look white, really white. But that's okay. Keep on doing this. Let's do one more. Add more white. And when you add more white, make your, where you're putting this white, smaller, shorter. But not straight. There's a bit of a curve in here. Again, I'm back. Not, this is not white now. This is burnt umber and Naples yellow and white. Okay. We're going to let it dry and we're going to glaze this. I know the white looks too strong, but we're going to glaze all this. Once we glaze white, it's just going to look perfect. Closer to her face, I'm going to keep it light because I don't want to keep it lighter. I don't want it to look too heavy on right next to her face. Okay. Let it dry. Let it dry now, and then we're gonna glaze this. It looks too light right now. Camera is okay. Let me. Okay, this is dry now, so we can glaze it. So you can see this is white, and I am doing that on purpose. Like I'm putting white, okay, less white here maybe, but this is really white. And this is the strong reflection usually is short from here to here. It's not a long one. So now I'm going to take burnt umber, and it's a glaze. So it's not heavy. And I'm going to go over, oops. I just wipe my brush. So you see, I didn't want I shouldn't go over it too many times because it's a glaze. And now because it's wet, I can take a touch of white because it's wet. So it will blend. It will blend with the glaze. I should have made the white stronger originally. This is getting really looking good. So, right, a bit of more white. You can see it's smooth, it's beautiful, especially here where I'm working now. So do a bit of variation. Let it dry, and I'm going to glaze it one more time. Meanwhile, let's work on the. Do you want me to stop for a minute so you can get to this part, or do you want to work on that, on this, the rose?
Anything it's easier for you.
How's everybody doing with this?
Yeah.
Wait a
Good
bit.
to continue.
Continue?
I'm okay.
Okay. All right, let's continue. So I'm going to start with the alizarin crimson for the roses, because we have to block all of this. And I have black. Let's take a round brush. And now we have to pay attention to this shape. So I'm mixing alizarin crimson with black because the part where I'm going to put this alizarin crimson and black is light, and I need all of the dark I can get. I need almost black in there. So I'm going to pay attention to the shape I'm doing all around, so it doesn't look like a circle or half a circle. It starts from her I'm just going to say her shoulder. It's not coming in English, it's coming in French to my head, right? It's all right. So I'm gonna go see, it's kind of irregular in here. Okay, good. More black in here. It's a little bit lighter. You can see the red more than what you're seeing on the screen, okay? Okay. Let's go out with this, and I'm doing circles. So I'm not painting this like that. I'm painting circles. I'm painting the shape of the flowers, but I just want them dark. So by the time we get to the highlight, to shape them, we will need a few brush strokes to show flowers. So we're starting with dark. And I'm looking at the reference because I like the way there is a dark kind of black parts. It's not, see these parts? I'm going to try to create this in here. I apologize, I have to turn it around so I can follow the shape of her shoulder. So in this part here, it's darker. So I'm going to take more, put more black in here. Bring it down. Now, let's bring the red over on this side, over her sleeve a bit. It's already looking really nice. Bottom part is darker, but we're getting there. I'm not going to put the dark right now. I'm just going to spread the color right now. I have a bit of black in my alizarin crimson. I'm just going to spread it. And I'm going to leave a bit for leaves at the bottom, so you can put some leaves. Okay, bring this out this way. So I was getting kind of a circle. So I'm going to bring this out to cancel the circle. That's better. A bit of black in this area, because this is the bottom part. So we're going to get darker in here, darker color. All right, and one hanging down here. I like that one. It's just like that. Beautiful. I'm going back to the hair part. I'm mixing, I'm getting a glaze of burnt sienna with a touch of burnt umber. And it's a glaze. I'm glazing the white that I have in there. Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
Okay, good. Right, so now we're going to highlight the flowers, the roses, cadmium red medium. We'll start with cadmium red medium, and then we'll take it from there. So now I'm highlighting, so I'm showing the shape of the flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of the dark underneath, and in the dark that I have, and I'm going to highlight it in a way that it looks like their petals, if possible, as much as I can. The ones in the back, you can't really see them that much. You see a little bit, but you don't see them that much. You don't see that movement or shape. It's too far away. They're kind of so I'm highlighting slowly. Now, I know this is not enough highlight, but that's okay. I don't want it to be too strong anyway. Not now. I'm going to wait a bit. Now it's just the first layer. I'm getting rid of the darks that I have. Round brush. I'm putting a suggestion of keeping an eye on the reference for guidance. Now, of course, these roses are higher up, so they're going to catch more light, and meaning that they're going to be lighter. Now, this is really kind of important right now because I want to keep an eye on the shape that I'm creating because I'm highlighting. Not only the shape of the rows, each one of them is the way they're bunched together. Now it's coming facing us. The flowers are bending, they're down now. So I'm going to see more of the center. Up here, I don't see the center because they're higher up. Now they're coming down, so I can see more of the center. I think I need to change my brush, but not now, because if I change my brush right now, I'm going to get a defined line. I don't want this defined line right now. I'm going to get it. I want it, but when I start highlighting more. Right now, I want just light and dark suggestion. Kind of a bigger, smaller. And move the camera a bit so I get more focus. Here. Okay. Again. Now we're getting down here. So the center of the flower is shifting sideways. One more down here. Again, is shifting downwards, the center. It's not centered anymore. It's more like the bottom part down. These are sideways. A couple of small ones here. And And we are going to highlight the ones closer to her sleeve. Right, good, good. Now the black that I have here is too strong. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna dab a bit of the cadmium red in here. So, you know, I get rid of that strong dark in there. So there we go. This is good. Excellent. That looks good. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a smaller brush, same round. I'm going to take cadmium red light, mix it with cadmium red medium. So I'm making my cadmium red medium lighter. Now, let's start with the ones that are top right here. It will dry darker. More highlight I put, this, you know, on my brush, the smaller the brush. Because highlights, if you're not using a small brush, they will look flat. Now I'm highlighting the top part, so I'm not highlighting the whole thing. Part of it, part of the flowers. Because if I highlight the whole flower, I'm going to lose depth. It will be, all the flowers will look the same and they will be flat. Highlighting slowly, taking my time, don't rush. In this part, there's not a lot of darks, this part here. But it doesn't mean, you know, I have to do the same. If I'm painting something and I look at it and I like it, I keep it, even if it doesn't look like the reference. I'm starting to see a nice shape. Cadmium red light mixed with cadmium red medium. Beautiful. There we go. Okay. This one is kind of sideways. This one more up. And again, you want to, you know, make sure that you are seeing what you're painting. So you're seeing something. If you see it, you can paint it better. I'm overlapping my lines. They're not, they're kind of, I can see that the one, I put one line in here, then I put the other one across from it, overlapping with it.
The second part, the lighter is with the brush not so heavy, light one.
You mean the brush is smaller? Yes, smaller
Or
brush.
smaller, the second part, okay.
Yeah, yeah, the highlight, the strong highlight with the smaller brush.
Yes.
So not all of them have a center. So that's why it looks more realistic than, you know, having everything, all of each one of them. Instead of each one of them having a center, some of them don't. Some parts don't. You don't see the center. It's highlighted, but you don't see the center. Some of them are darker as well because they're in, and some of them are out. So you don't want to highlight the whole thing. You see, this is just the second layer. We're going to still have a couple of more layers to go. And the more layers we put, the nicer it looks. Right. That's why I mix. So I start with the alizarin crimson, then I highlight with cadmium red medium. Then when I start my strong highlight, I start highlighting with cadmium red light mixed with cadmium red medium. So I don't jump right away from a medium to light without going slowly. This one is drooping down. Center is going this way. So the highlight is only on top. The bottom part is not highlighted that much. It's not highlighted. I didn't touch it. This one is. The whole thing is highlighted. This one, you can see, if you look at the reference, you'll see that the highlight is top part right here, right there, right there. And then the bottom is darker. Now this part is darker. So I'm gonna just kind of skim my brush over just because I don't want it to be too harsh at the bottom. And if I find that it's too light, too dark or too light, I can just glaze it darker. Right, so this is the second layer. Let's see anything that needs to be adjusted. Let's take a tiny bit of black, mix it with red, any red, cadmium red medium is good. Actually, no, I'm getting brown, not, no. Let's take alizarin crimson. Touch of black with my alizarin crimson. And darken this area. That's not enough. I need more black with the alizarin crimson. All right, let's darken this area a bit. Just gives it a bit of depth. Wow, it looks really dark on the monitor. Where I'm putting the black, it's not that dark. Let me fix this a bit, try to fix it if possible. That's a little bit better. It's not that bright. It's toned down. It's not that bright. Okay. Next layer. Again, cadmium red light mixed with cadmium red medium, because these flowers are not orange. Cadmium red light gives you a little bit of an orangey color, but the cadmium red light in now is more than the cadmium red medium, which will give me a soft highlight. Yeah, I can see the difference in the highlights. Actually, I'm going to put more cadmium red light. I'm going to soften this dark that you see in between. It's just because acrylic dries darker. So I'm just gonna use cadmium red medium and a bit of alizarin, and just kind of go over with these two colors, just so I don't have a strong dark. I want a dark in there for depth, but I don't want it to be overwhelming. It's not really a black hole in there. It's actually flowers, but they're just in. So some of these flowers are darker, some of them are lighter, because some of them are in and some of them are out. And even you can see each one of them, you can see that top part is highlighted, bottom part is not. I did highlight this part on purpose a little bit because I find that it's too dark in there in the reference. This is highlighted from here to here too much. So I'm going to take alizarin crimson, very small amount of black in my alizarin, very small amount. Alizarin crimson is transparent, so whatever you put with it, it will show. There, that's better. I would actually glaze it a little bit more with dark alizarin crimson, meaning putting more black in here, inside. And if it dries too dark, because acrylic does, I can always adjust. One last thing we need to do here is the leaves. So for now, I can use raw umber. Just raw umber to create shape of leaf or leaves. And I can then put over this raw umber sap green. Because this is, I don't have to see the sap green too much in here because it's dark. It's almost black. It's not black, but it's almost black. Sideways leaf going this way, left. Another big one that I can see is more like, this is the biggest one, down this way. Or it could be a little bit slightly on the left side, but it doesn't matter. Now another one going sideways this way, right. Another one here, really dark. Great. Touch of sap green. I'm going to mix my sap green with a bit of raw umber. Make my sap green darker and earthy. Okay, perfect color. I'm opening a bit in between. This is raw umber and a bit of white. Just opening the in between those leaves, the background. Just to make it more interesting. Again, I just want to put one more down here. Because it looked like it's opening, the movement of those leaves, they look like a circle. So I'm trying to get rid of that circle movement. Okay,